Good morning and welcome to News First Prime Time Sunrise.
A very good Tuesday morning to you and welcome to Primetime Sunrise. You're with me, Florine Rajendran. Before going to the stories in detail, here's a look at the headlines. Fines should be imposed on companies that distribute substandard fuel. A statement from the CPC trade unions. University system at further risk of collapsing due to the conflict between higher education officials. Statement from FUTA. President to visit the Bodh Gaya today. Egyptian jets bomb Islamic State targets in Libya a day after the group released a video showing the beheading of 21 Egyptian Christians. On to those stories in detail now. Sri Lanka's government won a 6-month delay yesterday in the publication of a report on alleged human rights violations after the UN Human Rights Chief praised its willingness to open the country up to scrutiny. UN Rights Chief Zaid Rad Al Hussein said he had recommended deferral of the team's report until September, and the president of the Human Rights Council had agreed, giving the changing context of Sri Lanka and the possibility that important new information may emerge which will strengthen the report. Zaid stressed it had been a difficult decision to allow the delay, and he vowed not to let wrongdoers off the hook. Senior officials of the US State Department welcomed the move and pledges made by the Sri Lankan government. In a letter to Zaid, as seen by Reuters yesterday, Foreign Minister Mangala Samaraweera set out reforms that government planned to implement within 100 days, including ensuring justice for war crimes. Samaraweera said he had
Rad Al Hussein said that he had recommended deferral of the team's report until September, and the president of the Human Rights Council had agreed, given the changing context in Sri Lanka and the possibility that important new information may emerge which will strengthen the report. Zaid stressed it had been a difficult decision to allow the delay, and he vowed not to let wrongdoers off the hook. A senior official of the US State Department welcomed the move and pledges made by the Sri Lankan government. In a letter to Zaid seen by Reuters on Monday, Foreign Minister Mangala Samaraweera set out reforms the government planned to implement within 100 days, including ensuring justice for war crimes. Samaraweera said that he had invited Zaid to Sri Lanka and all media restrictions and blocks on news websites had been lifted.
In more local news, trade unions of oil companies say that a system should be introduced to impose fines on companies that distribute substandard fuel. Secretary of the CPC branch of the Jatika Sevaka Sangama Ananda Palitha cited the failure to impose fines on such malpractices as the reason for the distribution of substandard fuel. Ananda Palitha's statement comes with the arrival of 30,000 metric tons of diesel into the island that does not meet the specifications.
Unlike
the former government, immediate steps should be taken to ban this relevant company. However, this company should be requested to bring down a fresh stock of fuel in exchange to the substandard stock after imposing a fine. They should also be issued a stern warning with a compulsory fine of $50,000. They have breached our agreement. If a country's fuel agreement is contravened, that is viewed as a major attribute to a fuel crisis. Just as the method bringing substandard fuel into the country was prevented, steps should be taken to impose a fine expeditiously.
Meanwhile, Secretary to the Minister of Power and Energy, Suresh Batakuda, said that there is no need to impose a fine on the company that has brought down substandard fuel, as the company had agreed to exchange a stock of fuel and replace it with fuel with the standard specifications. The stock of fuel brought down from a China-based company had been rejected due to a discoloration of fuel. The vessel, carrying 40,000 metric tons of petrol and 30,000 tons of diesel, docked at the Colombo harbour on the 15th of this month. The Secretary to the Minister of Power and Energy said that the stock of fuel was not permitted to be unloaded as it did not possess the required specifications.
Federation of University Teachers Association says that the university system is further at risk of collapsing due to the tug-of-war between officials of higher education. Its president, Dr. Prabhat Jayasinghe, said that due to this, the change that was expected by all is moving further away.
The situation that prevailed in universities for months is still continuing. Positions are not filled with suitable persons. Positions are awarded to those with similar views. One such example is that Eastern University is facing major crisis at present. As far as I know, the term of the Vice-Chancellor ended by the 12th of February. However, he is still functioning in the capacity of the Vice-Chancellor. At other universities, heads of faculties are appointed as acting heads once their terms come to an end. With all these malpractices, the entire administration of universities is pushed to dilapidation. That is why we kindly request to put an end to this tug of war.
Today is the third day of President Maithripala Sirisena's Indian visit. The president is scheduled to visit Bodh Gaya today. Agreements, including the first bilateral agreement on civil nuclear cooperation between India and Sri Lanka, were signed in New Delhi yesterday. Subsequently, a meeting was held between President Maithripala Sirisena and Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj. For the latest information on the President's visit to India, we now have Director of the Presidential Media Unit, Dharmashri Bandara Ekanayaka.
Sri Lanka Janadipati Garu Maithripala Sirisena Mahathage Siudina Nila Sanchari Ada Deweni Dine.
Today is the third of President Maithripala Sirisena's official visit to India. He is to visit Bodh Gaya today. He will be visiting locations that are under the care of the Mahabodhi Society and other locations which have cultural importance. Yesterday's proceedings concluded with a dinner party with Prime Minister Modi. The dinner was also attended by former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and leader of the Congress Party Sonia Gandhi. Many dignitaries including government ministers were also present at the occasion. The Sri Lankan delegation that accompanied President Sirisena was also present. While expressing views, Indian Prime Minister said that with the policies adopted by President Maithripala, Sri Lanka will have a brighter future. Speaking at the occasion, President Maithripala Sirisena extended his gratitude to the Indian Prime Minister for his invitation and said that he was looking forward to many bilateral relations between the two countries in the future.
Hindus celebrate Mahashivratri today. Mahashivratri is a Hindu festival celebrated annually in reference of God Shiva. It is the day Shiva was married to goddess Parvati. Mahashivratri is celebrated on the 14th day of the dark fortnight in the month of Magha from the Hindu lunar calendar, one night and day before the new moon. Devotees of Lord Shiva and Hindus in general on the day of Mahashivratri observe fast, only drinking milk and eating fruits. They perform an elaborate puja and rituals of worship to Lord Shiva with chants and hymns dedicated to him. Meanwhile, issuing a special message in view of the Mahashivratri day, President Maithripala Sirisena says that the Hindus of Sri Lanka will gain more strength in their search for unity through reconciliation and understanding with the spirit of Mahashivratri festival. In the message, the President also said that the most visible aspect of this festival, the lighting of lamps, symbolizes the constant efforts by humans to dispel the darkness of ignorance with the light of knowledge and understanding. Issuing a special message in view of the Mahashivratri day, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that Mahashivratri celebration is meant to drive away the darkness with the light of knowledge and also to build unity and togetherness in society. In his message, the Premier also said that today we are experiencing a new political culture which has created a feeling of brotherhood among all nationalities who live in our country in harmony. And that's a wrap of Primetime Sunrise here at News First. For the News First team, I'm Florine Rajendran. Have a wonderful day ahead of you.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.